We're focused really on three things: is connecting your customers, our members, with one another and with Vertafore, providing an advocacy channel for them so we can help drive innovation and change, positive innovation and change with Vertafore technology solutions, and then just providing constant education, which is a big part of what we do at Accelerate, where we focus on all three of those things.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the VIP podcast. I have got VIPs all over the place on the screen. I've got them right next to me. I've got them in the audience, and I'm so excited to have people here with me. It's fun to have somebody sitting here next to me. Rick,
it's
I'm
great
glad
being here. Yeah,
I'm glad you're sitting here next to me. I'm not all alone right here. It's fun, and I'm excited you guys are here. Make sure if you're not watching this, you can see someone else in studio besides me. Go to YouTube. Go to Channel Orange. Make sure you subscribe. If you're listening, then make sure you go to wherever you're listening to this as we speak right now and hit subscribe. Give me a 5-star review and tell me how great this podcast is. But, for now, I'd love to bring in – we got another guest on screen here, Mr. Jon Gorman. Get on in this house and talk to us a little bit, John. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing wonderful. Thrilled to be here. Thank you, Heath.
You don't sound too thrilled. Come on, give me a little something. Are you happy to be here? You good?
No, this is me being thrilled. I'm a pretty flat, even-keeled guy.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah.
Flat, even-keeled guy. Okay, cool. Well, off air before we hit record, we were talking about the joking around about being famous, and you've been included in a lot of things with us on stages and whatnot, involved in some stuff, and obviously, Rick, we keep throwing you on stages everywhere. You're on videos.
Get me in some new suits.
There you go. Yeah. But let me ask you this.
I have an orange one you can use, Rick.
I know you do.
I've seen that. It's a beautiful suit. So if you were to say if you could or you would be famous for anything, is there anything any hidden talents we don't know about that you would be, John, that you would be famous for?
Probably the only thing I'd be famous for is killing a documentary from HBO, but nobody would know about that except for me and the legal team.
Okay. What about you, Rick? Is there anything that you could be famous for if you were to be?
No, I'd like to be famous for skiing, but
is that a hobby that you really enjoy?
That and fly fishing.
That and fly fishing. I gotcha. So are you a skier there, John, as well, or do you?
I'm not a skier. I've got terrible knees, but I do love baseball. Played baseball as a kid. Coach baseball still now as an adult. So.
Would you ever want to be, did you ever have aspirations of being a famous athlete or being a professional ball player?
Most people might not guess this about me, but I enjoyed skateboarding when I was younger.
Really? Okay. Yeah. I gotcha.
Do you and Doug Moore compare skateboard stories?
No, but I ordered I custom built my skateboard from Thrasher magazine and ordered it from the mail.
Oh, nice. Wow. That's pretty awesome. So maybe we could have had, a famous skateboarder, on here. But anyway, guys, I am super excited to have you both here on the show because you both have that vested interest in kind of the experience of our users, of our people, whether it's from the NetVU or from Vertafore standpoint. So could you talk to me a little bit about that and what that means to you guys? We'll start with John on screen here. What is the customer experience of a NetVU or a Vertafore user mean to you? What is that for you?
Yeah, so what it means for me from a NetVU perspective is just getting members engaged with the community. I mean, we're focused really on three things: is connecting your customers, our members, with one another and with Vertafore, providing an advocacy channel for them so we can help drive innovation and change, positive innovation and change with Vertafore technology solutions, and then just providing constant education, which is a big part of what we do at Accelerate, where we focus on all three of those things.
There you go. And what about you, Rick? I mean, you've been involved in this from right there in the ground, and you've seen it all, and how important Accelerate is, and how important our relationship is with NetVU. And I know that's important to you. Can you talk to me a little bit about from your just broad view perspective what that is for you?
Yeah, it's such an important relationship, I think, and I think that's the whole foundation of this. Is that this whole industry, the entire insurance distribution world, is about relationships, right? So I think John and his team have done a great job. Accelerate's about a number of things, but first and foremost about building that community, building those connections, getting those in-person relationships. That's so important in this industry still. And then you get the educational components on top of it. You get other aspects of it. But to me, it all kind of starts with the relationship. We've got a great relationship with NetVU. They help us have a great relationship with their members. It's just a great symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, and a lot of people, and myself included, when they hear, Accelerate, NetVU, and they hear, Vertafore, they all kind of just assume it's all one thing. But NetVU is a completely different animal altogether. Could you tell me, John, a little bit about, maybe let the audience know what is NetVU and how does it differentiate itself from Vertafore? Obviously, we're connected, but
Right.
obviously it's a different thing.
From a most basic perspective, NetVU stands for the network of Vertafore users. So we're essentially the wholly independent user group of Vertafore technology customers. I think the fact that we are independent gives us a greater opportunity to get your customers, our members, a stronger voice in the future direction of Vertafore and of the industry. But I also think it's important to note that all of Vertafore's customers are members of NetVU simply as a result of being a customer of Vertafore. It's free, the basic services that we provide for our members and your customers. Vertafore supports those on behalf of its customers. So it's a completely free organization for Vertafore customers to be a part of and connect with other members like them.
And Rick, how are we at Vertafore? How are we helping them kind of keep their finger on the pulse, and how do we communicate with them in that? And what does that look like for us on our end? Because obviously they have to have that finger on the pulse.
Right. So we have a series of recurring meetings. We check in with them at least once a month. Some other people check in more frequently, but we're really, I think, trying to continue just to share information. And like, how do we make sure we're supporting them and giving them content and giving them early access to information? But I think John and I have really got a good working relationship we've established over the last couple of years, and it's continuing to get stronger. But that's one of the I think the key things is the teams are just coming together more and more and really working well together, and that just benefits everyone.
Yeah, and is there any other initiatives? Obviously, we have Accelerate coming up, or it just happened, depending on when this comes out. Is there any other initiatives that are currently in place to help strengthen that collaboration between the NetVU, or is there things that go on post Accelerate that help to collaborate between the two?
I'll let John take this one, but start planning the next Accelerate.
There you go. I'm sure that's an ongoing,
which has already happened, actually.
There you go.
Yeah, the two biggest issues I can think of that are ongoing with Vertafore and the relationship with NetVU are product work groups, something that a lot of our members don't know about, and probably a lot of people at Vertafore don't know about. But they are committees that are built of independent insurance agency operations leads, owners, principals, people who are involved with technology every day, and partnering them with Vertafore product managers. And they meet with a regular cadence where they review ideas, the Vertafore Ideas channel. They review all of the ideas for each of the solutions and determine which ones should be escalated, which ones should be de-escalated, which ones have the greatest impact to the customers as a whole. And those are incredibly powerful groups, and a lot of their work ends up being implemented in updates to the software. It's something that we don't talk about a lot, simply because the timeline of their work and what it may actually appear in the software can be a little bit longer. But it's an incredibly powerful voice from the NetVU community back to Vertafore.
I've heard about Accelerate for years, even beyond, coming here. And I always heard about what a great and amazing conference it was and a great party it was. And once you get here and you're here, obviously there's a lot of work that goes into that. But, it's a different kind of conference. I've been to a lot of conferences where you go and you get your typical setup and whatnot. But this one's completely different. And so I wonder if you got, we talk about, getting your hands on the products, you get live demos, and you get, to really sit down and visit with a lot of people within Vertafore. And so, Rick, I guess I can start with you on this. Yeah. Like, did that evolve over time, or is that kind of the vision from Jump Street? Do you want to do it that way, or how has that kind of evolved over the years?
It's definitely evolved, but it's been the vision from the beginning, right? I think we want to be different. We want it to be more, very much about this community. That's where there's this huge opening component of it that's for all new members. So there's a great thing on the very first night to welcome new members, make them feel part of it. So we kind of kick off that way. There's a day of caring that's about how do we give back to communities. So it's definitely evolved, but it's meant to be a very in-person, easy to get access, not just go around and kind of sit through your sessions, but actually go interact with all these folks. And we work really closely with John and his team to make sure we've got a number of situations set up so there's all this ongoing interaction, whether that's from the exhibit hall to the new member welcome reception to the past chairman's reception to some of the parties that are going on. So really trying to make sure it's that tight collaboration, hands-on experience, not just kind of go and just get fed information.
And as these newer users come in there, maybe they come in, they're just a user of AMS 360, or they just come in with PL Rater, or they just come in with some other product, is that something? Obviously, we welcome that, but is there intentionality in introducing them to other products, or is just to say, hey, welcome, glad you're here, John? If you wanted to, start off taking that, what does that look like for someone if they're like, I don't know if I should come or not? I only have one product.
Yeah, so about 33% of our attendees every year are first-time attendees. It will be the first time they will have ever attended Accelerate. And that's a huge part of what we're trying to accomplish, is introduce them to other Vertafore solutions that they can tag on or add to their tech stack to make their organizations more efficient. When we survey the members every year, efficiency in operations is one of the three biggest challenges that has appeared in each of the last 5 years. So we want to make sure that finding ways to partner them with additional Vertafore solutions, as well as Orange partners, Vertafore Orange partners, or NetVU partners that are exhibiting in the exhibit show. It's a huge part of what we're trying to accomplish.
What's one of those things that you guys experimented with that you thought, this will never work, and it's like, wow, this has really worked. This has been a slam dunk. This has really worked for us. Is there anything like that through the years you experimented with and it actually stuck around, and it's been an awesome adventure or an awesome addition to Accelerate?
Yeah, I can think of two things specifically. So last year we introduced workshops, which are deeper dives into specific issues. Highly popular. They sold out almost immediately, or not sold out, but registrations were filled almost immediately. So we've expanded our workshops this year to include more and to have broader depth and breadth of what we're providing. The other thing I could think about is thought leadership. We're getting more and more demand from members about personal and professional growth. So in Denver, when we were in Denver a number of years ago, we introduced a thought leadership track. So we're continuing to invest in providing that kind of education as well, where we can help to develop both the person and their profession in this industry.
Yeah, so for those ones that are coming, Rick, for the first time, and one of those 33%, which I think is incredible, which also tells me that 66% of people enjoy it so much they come back.
Right.
Which is another huge part of it. But for those first timers, when they're coming in, and if someone's listening to this, thinking about next year coming, or in the future coming to that, what are some of the things that they could prepare for ahead of time, or something that you might best practice? You might be able to say, hey, if you're a new person coming, you should definitely do this, or you should definitely take advantage of this.
I think it starts off with the website. Go in there and understand and look at the sessions based on your persona that you are and the size of agency you're coming from. But go through that welcome reception, right? You get that's your first glimpse, and then from that, the way we have it scheduled is right into the opening reception, which is I like what we've done the last couple of years. That we do that in the exhibit hall, so our Orange partners, other key people in our ecosystem are all there, and it gives those new folks a chance to see how big the ecosystem is that NetVU and Vertafore support, and then go in. Then the next day we start off with the keynote address from Amy and James. It talks about the exciting new things that are coming, and then we kind of go into the deep dives. And we have a little fun, have a good party, and then we kind of wrap up. And it's a great way to wrap up the event. There's a great final night event in there. So really kind of just dive in, right? Dive in, go to the things that are there to get it started. You'll get a good sense of it. There's also Tech Hub, where we have live support people there you can go and walk up to. So there's really just a huge amount of different places and things that they can use to leverage to be able to get the most out of it.
Yeah,
and Rick, I would just add, even before somebody attends or shows up at conference, connect with the people that you work with every day. Find out what kinds of questions or products that they want to learn more about. Connect with your supervisor or the owner of your agency or organization, see what they're looking at investing in terms of Vertafore and other technology solutions. Make a list, and then when you get back to your organization, share with them all the things that you learned, and partners and exhibitors and product solutions managers that you connected with.
Yeah, that's a great point, because I think a lot of times people get this shiny object syndrome, and when they'll go to this, I'm like, oh, I got these great ideas and all these things, but they don't come back and either don't implement them, or they don't come back and share with the group, or maybe even the opposite. They'll come back and just put it in and say, okay, guys, time to adopt this. And there's been no explanation of why you chose it or what you're doing. So to come back, like you said, with notes, with some contacts, with some better information from it, I think that's going to be a huge piece of advice there, John. I appreciate you sharing that. The other thing I wanted to know, and you brought this up, and it's been something that I've heard about a lot too over the years, is this is such a massive conference with thousands of people there. It would be really easy to get overwhelmed when you walk in, but the first thing I hear is you don't. I mean, There's so many welcoming people there. There's so many people to welcome you for things, and people to address you here, or point over here, or do this, and that's got to be something intentional, John, on y'all's part from NetVU's standpoint.
Yeah, it is very intentional. So Rick mentioned the first time attendee reception. One of the pieces of that is that we assign mentors to everybody who's a first time attendee, and they start talking well before they show up in Charlotte, for example, this year, or in Las Vegas next year, or San Antonio the year after that. So we are very intentional with trying to partner first time attendees with people who have experience at attending the conference. And then on site, it's pretty clear. We make it pretty evident on the badges, on the attendee badges, if somebody's a first time attendee. The thing that was surprised me the most the first time I attended Accelerate back in Denver was how much of a family it feels like. We have people who have retired from this industry for many years who come back just to see their friends once a year. It is a very interesting and unique national conference with lots of people, but people who are very connected and support one another.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And I wanted to know, like, from you, is there anything you could add to that you've seen over the years? Because, again, it'd be easy to have that deer in a headlight look. Okay. And I know on our side, and the Vertafore side, of thinking through that, what is that for you as well?
I think it's a couple things. John's team's got a great set of volunteers that helps. And we always encourage all the Vertafore people that go, when you see that deer in the headlights look and you see it, it's like, go up, introduce yourself to that person and just offer to help. Right. And I think the NetVU people do it really well. Our team does it really well, but it's like, it's meant to be a family. It's meant to be welcoming, and everyone does a good job. If you can kind of see that look, like, I don't quite know what to do next. And like someone just walks up and say, can I help you out?
Yeah, and
I mean, I've got a great story along those lines. The very first time I attended Accelerate as executive director at NetVU, I was just hanging around the registration desk, and a woman asked me if there was any water available. We were in Denver, so she was struggling with the altitude and wanted to get some water. I happened to be standing there, said, just hang on just a second, I'll go get you a couple bottles of water. Got her some water, all was good. Next day, I actually was on the main stage in the general session room, and she saw me later in the day, and she's like, I've been walking around this place and telling everybody that that's the water guy, and it just turns out that that's the guy, not the water guy. So, I mean, that's the kind of community that we have, is that everybody's there to support and lift.
Well, we may have to change your title on this to the water boy.
But
anyhow, I would love to know, obviously, everything, without saying everything, but, there's, sessions, there's workshops, there's things like that. But is there any specific things you would recommend for someone to make sure that they get to? Whether it's this year or next year, is there anything specific that, if someone was a first timer or one of those 66% that come back every year?
Yeah, so for the first timer, definitely the first time attendee reception, and then the opening reception in the exhibit hall is a great place to get started. The two general sessions are always highlights. Obviously, the first day general session with Amy and James on stage talking about the future direction of Vertafore is critically important. Second day, feel free to get motivated and inspired by a nationally recognized keynote speaker. This year, we're super excited to have Michael Phelps, the GOAT of swimming, at Accelerate. The What's New sessions are really important too. We have What's New sessions for each of the products or each of the Vertafore solutions. Those are really important to attend. And then just find what works for you and your specific role, because we offer something for just about every solution and every role within the organization. So take a good look at the sessions in advance, figure out what aligns most with your role and with your organization's future direction, and build your schedule that way, which we allow through the mobile app, which is a great tool.
Yeah, Rick, from your standpoint, and from working from the Vertafore standpoint, what we're doing behind the scenes, working alongside them, what is some of that you would say that someone makes sure that they don't miss out on, or something that you suggest, or maybe your favorite thing about it?
Well, John nailed it. I mean, I pretty much, he covered all the high points I would have covered, so it was a great job. I think those two general sessions are critical, and then build out what for your role, build out those sessions are really critical.
So would you say a lot of intentionality before you go in from the user, because we have the app, because we have all the things? Yeah,
go in there, spend some time like kind of getting prepared for it. The website's great, the app's great. Build out that program for you, and then that's really, I think, how you get the most out of it. Really, John covered it great.
And Rick, you can't forget the Vertafore Customer Appreciation Party. Probably the most fun couple of hours at Accelerate every year. And Vertafore has done an amazing job leaning into that event with some really exceptional performers.
Because you got to have
this year will be no different.
You got to have a little fun at these things.
Oh, when you have Trombone Shorty and you have Big and Rich, and you've got some really cool names that have come in and do this, and they asked me to do it, but it just wasn't something I'm famous for this year, so I decided
next year.
Maybe next year. Y'all can throw some tomatoes at me.
It's the single place you can go every calendar year where you are going to find more Vertafore employees, leaders, product managers than you can find at any other event. So if you're looking to meet Vertafore customer focused people, Vertafore product focused people, it's the single best place to make those connections and relationships.
That's fantastic. And on top of this, there's so many things, Rick, that you're involved in.
Yeah.
Being, Chief Customer Officer. What a cool title. I wish I could have that kind of title. That's a cool title. But what does that mean? Taking away, pivoting a little bit from Accelerate, but on a day-to-day basis, what are some of the things that you and your team are working on to, make sure that we have the best customer experience? Yeah. Because again, it's part of our values, part of what we do every day at Vertafore. But I'd love for the audience to hear from you, the Chief Customer Officer.
So, it's great. I do have a great job, right? And we live in one of our most important values. We have 6 of them. They're all important, but customer success is our success. I get to live and breathe that every day. If our customers aren't successful, we're not successful. We make them successful. We grow with them. So it's just about fulfilling that. And a lot of it comes down to, the new customers, making sure they successfully get up onto our platforms. The existing customers, James, Tom, and his team work very hard with Balaji and his team on new releases every year, and my team makes sure they're getting the most value out of it, right? So that's the part that it's great for me. I love this. I love this job. I love this role of, these are our customers. How do we make sure that every time we're getting more and more out of the products we have to offer? And it truly living that customer success is our success.
Yeah, and I think that's a great answer, and I would love to dive a little bit into that because you hear customer journey, you hear customer experience, and that your CX and all these like buzzword terms, but it's something we've built our whole company around, and it's been not just a buzz for us, but what is that something you could dive in maybe to tell our audience a little bit more of, what that means to our team, a little bit more of what is the customer experience beyond just a buzzword? Yeah.
So I think it is, we truly live that value, and it's about making sure that they are getting the most out of our product. So we live it of, there's always something new. Like, do you know videos we do?
Yeah.
Like these simple things that are like just making sure they're really living it every day. We've got teams that are there to make sure that they're getting the most out of what they're paying for. And like I said, they live it every day. That's really what they're focused on.
Yeah, and I've had people even reach to me, and I'm just the the content guy, but they'll see me at different events and see me at things, and they'll say, I've got questions about this, or I need help with this, and I'm like, we have a product consultant can help you there.
Right.
We have a this person for that. We have a sales guy for that.
Right. We got customer consultants. We've got the customer support reps. We've got all these people that are there to just help our customers.
And I think that's unique for a lot of companies. I haven't worked for a lot of technology companies, but I feel like that's kind of a unique situation. Yeah. And it's not someone that's outsourced. It's someone that's got a Vertafore paycheck that works here.
So it's our people. And we know it's important to our customers because they tell us that, because that's how they take care of their customers, right? So it's like this is how they're successful in the independent agent world, is taking great care of their customers, and they love it also, and we want to do the same thing.
Yeah, and I think, one last thing I'll say here, and then I know, John, I'm going to get back to you in just a minute. I don't want you getting too bored over there. But I do love the other pillar because it's important to me, is that we love insurance.
Yep.
And I think, again, going back to our shared customer NetVU and with you or with Vertafore, of like, we're not just a technology company that just wants to say, we're going to put out some cute technology and we're going to do a good job here. No, we put out technology that's going to help the insurance industry. We're going to further the cause of the independent agent.
Yeah. And the industry is so important, especially if you've seen, the California fires, the hurricanes that went through Florida and the Carolinas. Like, it really hits home how important this industry is to people and what it does for their lives, whether that's their individual coverage or business coverages. Like, that's the part. We love insurance because it's such an important part of the U.S. economy and the Canadian economy.
100%. And, John, obviously you guys do a really good job at NetVU with that as well. Is that, something that you guys have had as a pillar from you guys, or you guys kind of piggyback off of what we're doing? It's like, hey, this is so important to them, we're going to do the same thing? Or is just you guys are just such good people, you want to do the same thing? Like, is there a
yeah, I would say it's very similar and symbiotic in that Vertafore loves insurance, NetVU loves our members. So we love building communities and connections. It's interesting to see how relationships are formed through the NetVU community. It's interesting to see how Vertafore business has grown through the NetVU community. We have small agency roundtables and mid-size agency roundtables where they're constantly talking about different Vertafore solutions, and people are digging into it and learning more and trying to add those to their own tech stack. So, Vertafore loves insurance, NetVU loves insurance, but we really love our members, and that's where we shine most.
Is there a way, can you announce, where next year's is at this point in time? And can you tell us, maybe give a little teaser where that could be next year?
Sure, I'm happy to share. So in 2026, it's posted already on the NetVU website on our education calendar. We're going to be back in Las Vegas. We haven't been in Las Vegas for a number of years, and we're actually going to Las Vegas Fontainebleau Resort and Casino, the single largest or longest build project in Las Vegas history, which opened in December of 2023. We were out there earlier in 2024. It's an amazing casino. It's an amazing convention center. All focused on experience and extravagance, but it will be a great opportunity for our members to connect to each other. And actually what will be unique about Las Vegas is we'll be back under one roof. All of our attendees will be in one property. Our convention center will be within the one property and under a single roof, so that'll be great.
So
2027, we're thrilled to share that we'll be in San Antonio. Again, another highly popular destination for our members in the past. We haven't been there in a number of years. But we'll be back in San Antonio in 2027, May 17th through 20th.
Dude, that is awesome. Those are two great locations. So, guys, I know, if you haven't had a chance or if you already have enjoyed being, whether it was New Orleans or being in North Carolina or being in some of the other places we've been, look forward to those two destinations. It's going to be awesome. And so, and what goes on in Vegas doesn't have to stay in Vegas. You take it back to your agency, and have a good time with that. And I love the Riverwalk in San Antonio. I think it's going to be a really cool opportunity for a lot of people. John, I could sit here and talk to you all day, but my producer's telling me to wrap it up. I'm talking too much, but I really appreciate you joining us. Rick, I appreciate you coming and hanging out with me. So I got someone here with me next to me in the studio. John, any final things? Anybody, if they want to get in touch with you or they want to get in touch with somebody from your team or they want to sign up for Accelerate, do you want to share any of that kind of information if they want to be a part of the NetVU community?
Sure. So everybody's automatically a part of the NetVU community, but if you haven't heard from NetVU, visit netvu.org. If you're interested in learning more about Accelerate, it's accelerate.netvu.org. And the best place really to get started is an online community we have called INCOM, the NetVU community, where you can go and connect with other people, connect with solutions, connect with Vertafore. It's a great online community for our members that Vertafore participates in, as well as a lot of industry and partner groups.
That's awesome. And Rick, any final words you'd like to share from our cool titled?
Yeah, I'm just excited. We've got planned for Charlotte. We've got great content. We've got a great party. We've got great keynote speakers. It's going to be a great conference. I'm excited about the NASCAR Hall of Fame. It's very cool. I was actually literally there last Friday. That had to go down to meet with a customer, and the customer is now in the building that's part of the convention center. So
that's awesome.
Getting excited. It's coming up soon, so it's going to be a great event.
Oh, that's going to be awesome. Guys, thank you so much for watching, for listening, for hanging out with us. And I hope to see you at an Accelerate real soon, whether it's this year or 2 years from now or 10 years from now. I just hope I get to see you really, really soon. And I will see you on the next one.